Attention passionate Pittsburgh Steelers fans. Latest news, something big is happening in the AFC North and it could change the game. We're talking about a direct impact on Pittsburgh Steelers' path to another Super Bowl run, a power shift that could leave a division rival stumbling for years. We're bringing this to you firsthand. But before that, if you're a true Pittsburgh Steelers fan, subscribe to the channel to strengthen this passion even more. Show that you're also part of this family. Let's help each other reach 1,000 subscribers. Share with your friends and Pittsburgh Steelers fans. Let's get to the news now, folks. You've probably heard the rumors swirling around the NFL lately, especially concerning the wide receiver market and how it might shake up some of the league's most interesting teams. But today, we're diving into a story that's gaining momentum and has the potential to significantly impact the Steelers' plans for the upcoming season. It's about a name you might already be familiar with, Alan Lazard. Yes, Lazard, the receiver who's been caught in a bit of a whirlwind of rumors, trades, and speculations, and who might be headed straight into the Steel City. That's right, Pittsburgh could be the next stop for Lazard, and if it happens, it could be a game-changer for both sides. To really appreciate what this potential move means, we need to look back at Lazard's journey, from undrafted rookie to a seasoned NFL receiver. Lazard was signed by the Jacksonville Jaguars as an undrafted free agent back in 2018 after leaving Iowa State. It's a story familiar to many NFL fans, a talented player who doesn't get drafted, but finds a way to make an impact through perseverance and grit. Unfortunately, Lazard didn't crack Jacksonville's 53-man roster that year, which is often the harsh reality for undrafted guys. Instead, he signed onto the practice squad, working tirelessly behind the scenes, waiting for his opportunity. And late in December of his rookie season, that opportunity finally came when the Green Bay Packers, battling injuries in their wide receiver core, signed him off the Jaguars' practice squad. That decision by the Packers turned out to be pivotal. Lazard didn't instantly become a star, but he gradually earned his spot in the team's rotation, especially in the subsequent seasons. Initially, he was a steady but not spectacular contributor, averaging around 34 receptions, 464 yards, and 3 touchdowns during his second and third seasons. But it was in 2021 that Lazard started to carve out a more significant role, especially as a red zone threat, catching 40 passes for 513 yards and scoring a career-high 8 touchdowns. Then came 2022, a career year, no doubt. Lazard caught 60 passes for 788 yards and 6 touchdowns, proving he could be a consistent, reliable target in the NFL. Now, what's fascinating is that Lazard's relationship with Aaron Rodgers was more than just a quarterback-receiver connection. It was almost a partnership built on mutual respect and shared ambitions. Rumors have indicated for a while that after their final season together in Green Bay, Lazard and Rodgers often discussed the possibility of reuniting somewhere else, notably in New York, with the Jets. Lazard, always eager to prove himself, took the initiative to reach out to the Jets about a free agent deal, and that's how he ended up in New York, trying to carve out a new chapter in his career. But that chapter hasn't been smooth sailing. Lazard's first year with the Jets was marred by misfortune. Remember, Rodgers tore his Achilles in the season opener, which basically turned Lazard's debut into a bit of a washout. Instead of catching passes from Rodgers, Lazard was thrown to by Zach Wilson, Trevor Siemian, and Tim Boyle. His numbers that year, 23 receptions for 311 yards and just a single touchdown, reflected that disrupted start. Still, he managed to bounce back a little in 2023, catching 37 passes for 530 yards and 6 touchdowns, showing glimpses of the player who had a career year just a year earlier. But now, with Rodgers no longer in New York, Lazard finds himself at a crossroads. The Jets have been reshaping their roster, and Lazard's role is more uncertain than ever. The departure of Davante Adams from New York this offseason opened a window for Lazard to become the WR2, especially since the team restructured his contract, signaling a commitment. However, recent reports, particularly from ESPN's Rich Cimini, suggest that Lazard is currently losing the WR2 battle to free agent addition Josh Reynolds. Reynolds is seen as the clear favorite to land the role, which puts Lazard's future with the Jets in question. At one point early in this offseason, rumors even flared that the Jets might release Lazard altogether. The team had given him permission to seek a trade, probably trying to recoup some value before the season started. But ultimately, they decided to keep him, restructuring his contract instead of letting him go outright. That move was likely motivated by cap considerations, as trading or releasing him before June, one would have resulted in significant dead money, $55 million, and left the team with about $94 million in cap space. Post-June 1, though, things looked different. The dead money would drop to roughly $18 million, freeing up about $43 million in cap space, which makes a trade more attractive from a financial standpoint. And here's where the Steelers come into the picture. With Rodgers heading to Pittsburgh and Lazard's contract situation making a trade more feasible, the rumors have started to swirl even more. The Steelers have been quietly exploring options to bolster their receiving core, especially after losing some key pieces in recent seasons. Lazard, with his size, contested catch ability, and red zone prowess, could be a perfect fit alongside their existing weapons. Imagine him lining up across from George Pickens, creating mismatches, and giving Kenny Pickett a reliable target in critical moments. Plus, Lazard's experience and versatility make him a valuable asset for a team with Super Bowl aspirations. But why would the Jets consider trading Lazard to the Steelers? Well, it's all about cap management and roster flexibility. If Lazard is traded after June 1, the Jets could save a good chunk of cap space, which they might need to re-sign other key players or to bring in new talent. It's also about the bigger picture. The Jets have a ton of new pieces, including their draft picks and free agent signings, and they want to optimize their roster before the season kicks off. Lazard's value might not be as high as some expect, especially given his recent injury-plagued seasons and the uncertainty at the WR2 spot. But for the Steelers, Lazard represents a low-risk, potentially high-reward addition that could pay dividends, especially in the red zone and third-down situations. Now, let's not forget the historical context here. The Steelers have a long-standing tradition of finding underrated or overlooked players and turning them into key contributors. Think about guys like Antonio Brown early in his career, or even recent pickups who came in with little fanfare but ended up making huge impacts. Lazard, with his proven NFL production, durability, and red zone ability, could be that guy who steps in and instantly makes the Steelers' offense more dynamic. And with Kenny Pickett's development and the team's focus on building a balanced attack, Lazard could become a trusted target, a true weapon for this team to lean on in clutch moments. Of course, there are still hurdles to clear. The Jets might be hesitant to part ways with Lazard unless they get fair value in return, especially since they've invested in him just recently. Plus, the Steelers will have to work out a trade that satisfies both sides, considering salary cap implications and team needs. But the mere possibility is enough to keep fans on the edge of their seats. It's the kind of move that could shake up the AFC North, adding a new dimension to the Steelers' offense and potentially shifting the balance of power in the division. And let's be honest, we all want to see the Steelers make bold moves. With the AFC North as competitive as ever, Ravens, Bengals, and Browns, all loaded with talent, Pittsburgh needs to be creative and aggressive. Lazard's profile as a 6'5" receiver with reliable hands and red zone presence fits right into that mold. Plus, his familiarity with Rodgers' style and offense could mean he adapts quickly, giving Kenny Pickett another reliable target to develop chemistry with. So, what are the next steps? Well, if the Jets decide to move Lazard, the timing will be crucial. Post-June 1 trades are more advantageous from a cap perspective, but it also depends on how the Jets view their roster and their long-term plans. For the Steelers, the window is open to make a move, especially if Lazard becomes available at a reasonable price. The NFL trade deadline is always a whirlwind, but sometimes, the best deals happen early, and this could be one of those moments that set the tone for the AFC North in 2024. Keep an eye on this story, folks. Because if Lazard does end up in Pittsburgh, it could be the beginning of something exciting. A new weapon for Kenny Pickett, a fresh spark for the Steelers' offense, and a strategic move that could have ripple effects across the division. And as always, we'll be here to bring you all the updates, analysis, and insider info as this story unfolds. The NFL offseason is full of surprises, and the Steelers might just have another ace up their sleeve. Pause here just for a second. If you want the YouTube algorithm to keep recommending the latest Pittsburgh Steelers news to you, it's super important that you leave a like on this video. Go ahead, it's quick and it makes a big difference. Thank you. Now let us continue with the big reveal. And now, Pittsburgh Steelers fans, I want to hear from you. What's your take on this potential Lazard move? Do you think it's a good fit for the Steelers? Are you excited about the possibility of adding a player with Lazard's experience and skill set? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Your opinion matters so much to us and to the Steelers. Remember, this is a passionate community, and your voice helps shape the conversation. And don't forget, I'll be back soon with more updates, so stay tuned for the latest Pittsburgh Steelers news, rumors, and analysis. This offseason is heating up, and the Steelers are right in the middle of it. Thanks for watching, and as always, let's go Steelers!